All right, so we've got the water coming up from the yard hydrant to the drop hose, down through our pressure reduction and filtration timer system, out to the header. So the header, again, is just 1/2-inch poly. It's very durable, lasts forever. You can puncture it, so try to keep that in mind, but I got it running off to the side into my rows. And then the whole header system goes out the width of the garden. And that's just, again, 1/2-inch poly. And then each row will be adding the inline valve and the irrigation tape out to each row. So that's how the header system, what that looks like. What we're gonna do with each row with the irrigation tape is we're gonna lay it underground. And what that does for us in the wind is that it anchors it under the soil, and you can use less water, and actually the irrigation tape will last a few more seasons when it's buried. So what we'll do is we got the middle buster attached, and we're gonna run out all the rows, making a furrow the length of the row, and then we'll come back in and we'll lay the irrigation tape down into that furrow and cover it up. So you can see I went over it a couple times to get each row to the right depth, set my middle buster to the right depth and everything. And I also made sure that the length of each row is long enough to connect to the header line. So it's going to be shorter distance between the header and the actual irrigation tape. So I don't know about you, not bad on the straightness, but I sure have appreciation for the real guys when you're driving down the freeway and you're looking off and seeing a field and it is just laser straight. My hat's off to those guys, and these are not laser straight, but they're gonna be good enough. So let's get some T-tape in the ground. Okay, so the irrigation tape, as I mentioned, you can buy in all different lengths. I've got a, I don't know, several thousand foot roll that I've had for a while, and it's served me pretty well. Got it on just a piece of PVC with a huge concrete stake through the middle of it, so it supports the weight of it. So as I drive down the row, it should unroll correctly. So you want to make sure that your irrigation tape has the emitters up. Okay, there's obviously two different sides to it. The bottom side is smooth, has nothing on it, and you want the emitter side facing up. And what that does is, should any sediment get in the line, it'll settle on the bottom of the irrigation tape and not come out the top through the emitters and possibly clog the system. We're at the end of the row, and so what we're going to do now is we're going to cut it. But there's something I want you to keep in mind if you're working with the irrigation tape, is if you see the little slit there, just in front of my thumb, and you got like a herringbone pattern, and then another slit there. The slits are actually where the water comes out. So when you cut it, you want to make sure that when you go to fold it to clamp it off, that there's not a fold on one of those emitters, because it's going to leak on you at the end of the line, and you're going to have a little bit more water at the end of your row than you want. So I usually have good experience by cutting somewhere in this herringbone pattern right here. All right, you can see we got all 5 rows. That's what we're doing today, is just 5 rows of the irrigation tape laid out into the bottom of each furrow. Now the next thing we're going to do is connect it to the header line. Okay, so it's real simple to connect the irrigation tape to the header line. You've got a row valve, and it goes like this. You have a 1/4-inch barb that's going to go into the header line, and then you've got a twist lock that is gonna connect to the irrigation tape. So all you gotta do is just take a standard punch for landscape irrigation, make a punch in it, then you're just gonna pop that 1/4" barb right in on there. And you wanna pull back on it to confirm that it's in and it seats it. Next thing you do is you just connect your irrigation tape to the barb there. And what's kind of goofy about these valves is it's righty-loosey, lefty-tighty. So we're gonna turn it this way to snug it down, okay? And you wanna make sure again that your emitters are up. So we're gonna leave the other end of the line open so that it'll flush out any debris that's in the line before we cap the end. Okay, we got water out of each line. We got a crazy dog. What are you thinking? Crazy dog. Alright, so we'll let the water run out of each line for a few minutes just to flush out all the debris that may have got down in there, and then we'll cap it and we'll be ready to cover it. So the irrigation tape's been running for a few minutes. You can see that it's doing what it's supposed to be doing. Now you can certainly leave the irrigation tape on top in your furrow like that and plant your seeds next to it. There's nothing wrong with that. You'll probably want to anchor it down with some little metal stakes because it will move on you. And so that's one of the reasons I like to cover it back up, is it anchors it into place. I don't have to worry about that. And you can actually use a little bit less water, is my experience, when it's covered up like that. So what I'm gonna do now is just go back over it with the row hippers and cover it up, and then we'll be able to get some seed in the ground. But that's it for part 2 of the irrigation video out here at Meeker Farms. Thanks for watching, and we'll see y'all later.